Hey everyone, Mikey Sola here. In the first video that we watched, the in-person learning, the teacher had a great group of kids, seemed like some really great listeners. She had what she referred to as a classroom agreement, meaning when the teacher speaks, the students listen. I really liked that because it doesn't necessarily show who's in charge, but it shows the expectations, and kids need, clear expectations when they're in class. So when I speak, you listen. There was a group agreement, meaning students can speak but with a low voice. Obviously, in a group, you're going to work together, but it's the expectation, keyword again, that you speak in kind of a low voice, almost a library type voice. The teacher paused to remind students of that, which was good. Kids are going to need continual reminders. They literally forget, at least the students I do. So continual reminders. I liked how she paused. The pair work rule meant two students working together, listening and helping one another. So, this is two people, two students as partners working together, and most importantly, helping one another. So, building that community, if I'm gathering that correctly. She also had an introduction, which meant she greeted the students, she remembered the classroom agreements, and explained the learning outcomes. So, kind of the things that I touched upon before, which is just drilling in the learning outcomes and the agreements that they had. In regards to the in-person learning, again, there was whole class instruction, which meant explaining what they're going to do and the resources that they have. So resources are key, not necessarily just that, but also explaining what you're going to be doing. There was also the reminder to discuss in a low voice when they're in groups. So again, there are those constant reminders that all students need. There was a learning engagement. Students perform the same work in group and pair work. So again, engaging, building a community. I believe that the teacher did a really good job as far as building community. If I was to give maybe some type of pointer, I maybe would say that the teacher should give some type of time updates. Now, maybe we don't see that in the video, but the video just kind of ends. It's a fast forwarded, sped up thing, but maybe just giving some clear time countdowns, like you got 5 minutes left, you got 3 minutes left, so students can learn to not necessarily work together or work on their own, but also budget their time accordingly. I think students need to really understand time management. That's something I really stress to my kids. So time management, so giving those crucial checkdowns of how much time is left. For the online class with the online teacher, again, I think she had a great group of kids. I really wasn't able to gather how many students she in fact had. To me, it seemed like a very small group. The teacher praised the students for raising their hands, which I like. She's pointing to them saying, I like how you're raising your hand. A lot of times I believe that teachers, I'm probably guilty of this too, can be too negative, only focusing on the negative. She focused on the positive, building that culture, building that community. Again, she praised the students for raising their hands, and she also had the students read the objectives for the day. So again, there are those clear expectations of what they're trying to achieve for that day, online learning, which is not an easy task. She checked in with the students by asking them to touch their nose when they're ready. So again, she had little kids. I have high school kids, and in our cohort, there's a lot of people that have different grades, but sometimes it's pretty good to go back to basics. Just give me a thumbs up, touch your nose when you're ready. Pretty simple thing, and I think everybody kind of gathers it. So if I had to pinpoint one thing that she maybe could have done differently, we didn't necessarily see her have them work individually and in groups. It was more like they just worked, she was reading to them, and there was students, again, we don't see how many, but she could have, if she wanted the students to work together, she could have put them in breakout rooms. Now, they are extremely young, but she could have possibly done breakout rooms. Again, if there's another thing I was really going to hit at, it's just the fact that she had a great group of kids, and they seem to be doing really good work, and they're online, and plenty of things can go wrong when they're online. But the one thing that she probably could have done is also do a check down of time, how much time is left. We really didn't see that. There's 3 minutes left, there's 2 minutes left. So, and I think another thing I noticed that she possibly could have done would have been, there was many times in the video where it got a little bit loud and rambunctious. She could have muted everybody and unmuted them when she called upon them. But Again, it's difficult because it's online, because the way I'm looking at it, if you do that, you potentially run the risk of maybe losing the engagement of students. They can become really bored because they feel like they're not heard. So maybe it's something where she can do very minimal, but if it does become extremely loud, mute them, calling them one by one. But if she feels that the engagement is really, the energy level is really low, maybe unmute everybody again and get that big culture, get that big community growing. So that's all I have. Thanks for your time.